So what do you think of these new speed cameras in New York City?
In Israel lately, it's every place, almost every place with cameras, and everybody upset from this, but bottom line is good.
Did you ever get a speed camera ticket in Israel?
Yes.
And has it made you a better driver because of the ticketing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, today was a very impressive event by Mayor Bill de Blasio, and I very much appreciate him inviting me to stand with him. I was the only non-Queens member here today. And I think part of that is because I've been working for many years right now to try to make our streets safer here in New York City, especially to reduce pedestrian deaths by automobiles. Unfortunately, what we've seen is that while the murder rate has actually gone down in New York City, and we're at our lowest that we've had in modern history, the amount of people who are getting killed by automobiles has actually gone up, which is a very disturbing trend. And we all know somebody who unfortunately was hit by a car or who was critically killed. We've had, unfortunately, children in my district. We've had adults. We had the famous situation with the family, the couple who was in Williamsburg. And I think what Bill de Blasio is trying to do today is he's trying to do something that's unique and something that we've actually discussed before, but it's the first mayor to actually do it, which is to instruct the different agencies that have a role, whether it's the Department of Transportation or the NYPD, for example, to actually work together and come up with a comprehensive plan to try to reduce those deaths in New York City. And I think that's something that we applaud him for, and I think it's significant, and like I said, it's really the first mayor who's actually attempted to do that. And I think when you look at it and you say, hey, this number has to be decreased just as importantly as the number of murders in New York City, because both of these are preventable deaths. That's a brand new way of looking at it. I think that's something that's going to significantly improve the safety of pedestrians in New York City, and I'm very excited about it.
Now, will there be any focus on educating pedestrians to do their part and waiting, for example, not to jaywalk?
Absolutely. I think what the police commissioner mentioned, which was a very important point, is that nearly 2/3 of these accidents actually unfortunately involve pedestrians making errors that result in those serious injuries and deaths. And obviously educating them is part of it. Part of that is the new signs. Especially many foreigners don't know to look to their right when they're crossing the street, and I think we've seen a lot of that. You may have seen it across the city, look right, which is something that's very important. Obviously, when we travel abroad, it says look left, because we have the same challenge over there, so I think that's an important courtesy. But certainly education is part of it, but there are concrete things that you can do, especially in terms of lowering the speed limit, in terms of more enforcement on reckless drivers. I think, if you polled most drivers, I think they would tell you that, it's very frustrating for them that, they get pulled over for minor infractions like a broken taillight far more frequently than for speeding, right? I mean, everyone's driven down the street and seen a reckless driver and nothing happens to him, and you don't know your taillight is broken and you get a ticket. And I think, there's a disproportion in terms of the kinds of tickets. Unfortunately, the police focus on the easier tickets, like cell phone tickets, for example, and tinted windows, when the major issues like public safety, which are reckless driving and illegal turns and speeding, are not tickets that the police enforce as much, because quite frankly, they take more work. And I think having that more focus is something that's going to be significant and will certainly improve public safety and pedestrian safety in New York City. So I'm very excited about what happened here today.
Yeah, will there be warnings at first, or the police plan on issuing tickets
right away? Well, so up until
away?
now, I think the very significant message that was sent today, up until now, you've had warnings on those speed cameras, effective tomorrow, according to the mayor. Those cameras will now, in fact, give actual tickets, and so we've transitioned into that. Those cameras are placed all across New York City, and I think that's a good thing, especially because we haven't seen as many tickets, and hopefully people will realize that there is a need to slow down. And the bottom line is that the single biggest cause of death in New York City is the speed that people travel. If you slow down, you're going to save lives.